What's up guys, and welcome to my guide to leveling your fame in Final Fantasy XI. Over the years, many ways have been found and used in order to increase your reputation within the game's NPCs. A lot of the in-game spells and items are locked behind a certain fame level in order to flag the quests. A few examples of those are the spells Drain, Aspire, Warp 1 and 2, Utsusumi, the Primals, and many others. In this guide, we will cover how to efficiently raise your fame within all of the cities to make this process as painless as possible. As always, this guide is made on and for the WingsXI private server. The information portrayed in this guide is era accurate for the server specifically and might not apply if you're playing this on another server or on retail. Another big disclaimer here, the quantities required to reach a certain fame level seem to vary a lot depending on the ladder as well, and I have found many testimonies who seem to contradict each other. For this reason, I recommend double checking your fame with the NPCs in each nation to make sure you have achieved the wanted rank. I will cover the NPCs towards the end of the video, and it will be timestamped for ease of access. Without further ado, let's get right into the video. First of all, let's cover the basics. Fame is a term to designate how well known your character is known within a certain city. As mentioned during the intro, raising your fame will unlock a lot of the quests that are otherwise not accessible to you. Raising your fame also raises how much gil is awarded while selling items, while decreasing the price of items from vendors. In order to raise your fame, you'll want to complete quests within a city or area, thus increasing your fame for that city respectively. You can raise your fame for up to level 9, though reaching level 6 will be sufficient to unlock all of the content like primals and quests that are locked behind fame. Quests you complete will award fame in one of the following cities: Sandoria, Bastok, Windurst, Jeuno, and Tenshodo. Questing in certain areas will award fame in another area that is essentially linked together. Jeuno Fame is directly linked to Sandoria and Bastok. Mora and Chasm are directly linked to Windurst. North Fame is linked to Tenshodo Fame, and the Jeuno Fame is a combination of all three main nations. This means that doing certain quests in Jeuno, for example, will raise both Sandoria and Bastok fame levels. Doing Tenshodo quests will raise Norg's fame. This is actually the key to raise your fame quickly within the game. Some of the quests are also repeatable, meaning you can do the quest over and over to an endless loop. This is a much faster process when raising fame, as you don't need to run around completing multiple objectives. Lastly, it is possible to make a macro to easily trade in items to complete the repeatable quests, which is much easier and less annoying than manually trading. This will only work if you have a single item to trade in, so this will not work on all the quests shown in this video, sadly. I have added the macro also in the description of the video for ease if you want to copy and paste it. Now that the basic stuff is out of the way, let's look at the best strategies to raise fame in all of the regions. The first quest we will look at is Only the Best, situated in Jeuno. We will use this quest in order to raise both Sandoria and Bastok fame levels. Since Jeuno is linked to those two nations, we'll be able to hit two birds with one stone by completing this repeatable quest. You will have to trade in either 5 Lethan cabbage, 3 million corns, or 1 Biota moss to Melian so he can feed his hungry sheeps. Here you have the choice, as both the million corn and the Biota moss is a good option. The moss does have the advantage of being a single item to trade in, meaning you can actually use the macro we made earlier to trade the items to the sheep keeper. The million corn will require you to manually trade in the corn 3 at a time. You can actually purchase the corn from various NPCs depending on who owns the Aragono region. At the moment of filming this, I was able to purchase them from Antonian in northern Sandoria for very cheap and essentially got my gil right back from turning in the quests. Repeat until the desired fame is reached. You will need about 64 stacks of corn or 17 stacks of moss to reach level 6, which will unlock all of the content needed. Now for Windurst Fame, you will want to complete the quest Mandragora Mad given by Yoran Oran in Windurst Walls at E5. You will ask for either a 4-leaf Mandragora Bud, a Cornet, a Yutunga Sulfur, a 3-leaf Mandragora Bud, or a Snobby Letter. The item we will focus on in this case is the Cornets. Use that macro we created earlier to quickly trade in the instruments to the NPC. You can farm the Cornets yourself by killing Mandragoras in Saruta Baruta, but this is a very time-consuming process. You can actually purchase the Cornets straight from the music shop located at K10 in Bastok markets. You can create a mule in Bastok and leave your main in Windurst and simply buy the Cornets, send them out by mail to make this process cheap and easy. Completing the quest will almost cover the entire cost of the Cornets from the shop, so this is almost a free process. Another option, if you have the tools available like the Saruta Baruta Outpost Warp and access to teleports, is you can set up your home point in Bastok markets, buy the instruments, use the Outpost Warp to the Saruta Baruta Outpost, walk to Windurst and drop the Cornets to the NPC. You can then simply walk back to Bastok markets and repeat the loop over and over. Doing this method, you will have your Windurst Fame leveled to the wanted level in no time. According to the wiki of the era, you will need 178 Cornets to achieve level 6, which will unlock all of the quests. I personally did 4 trips with a full inventory of 65 slots just to make sure I wouldn't have to worry about it again in the future. Now, let's jump into Tenshodo and Norg Fame. This one is extremely popular as the ninja job will require you to obtain a scroll of Utsusumi Ichi to be viable for any content. The only way to obtain the scroll is to complete a quest in Norg, which requires you to at least have a fame level of 4. A lot of returning players like myself go straight into doing the quest Migos Amigos, where you need to trade in Yagudo necklaces in Windurst. This is what I did on retail anyways, but it turns out there's a much cheaper and faster way. I'm not sure if this is a WingsXI thing or also the best method nowadays on retail, but what we will do is complete the repeatable quest Shady Business located in Port Bastok at the warehouse number 2 at F6. You will first need to complete the prerequisite quest Beauty and the Galka, which is extremely straightforward. You will need to bring 1 zinc ore to Talib, then talk to Parago in the first house in H5 in Bastok Mines. You can then return to Talib and you will ask for as many zinc cores as you can bring. You can trade him 4 zinc cores at a time over and over until the required fame is achieved. The ore strategy is a lot faster than the necklaces, as you will need about 12 stacks in order to reach level 4, granting you access to the ninjutsu and Leviathan quests. At the moment of release of this video, the ores are about 2k a stack on the auction house, and the quest will give you a little over 1k per stack, so consider spending about 12k in order to achieve rank 4, or a little more if you want higher fame. As mentioned in the intro of this video, Jeuno Fame is simply a combination of Sandoria, Bastok, and Windurst Fame, so you will need to raise your fame in these areas to automatically increase your Jeuno Fame as well. Lastly, let's cover how to check your current fame. This is done by talking to certain NPCs, and the message they display will tell you your fame level. I will add a link to the possible messages along with the level of fame in the description of the video. For Bastok Fame, you will want to talk to Flacco, located in Port Bastok at E6, right in front of the Steam and Sheep restaurant. For Sandoria, talk to Namonutis in Southern Sandoria in the Lion Spring Tavern at K6. For Windurst, talk to Zabirego Hajigo at F10 of Windurst Waters on the upper map in the Timbre Timbers Tavern. For Jeuno, you can talk to Mendy in H8 in Lower Jeuno, right across the magic shop close to the auction house. Lastly, you can check your Norg fame by talking to Voltuman in Norg at H8, or alternatively, you can also look at the Tenshodo shop prices located in Jeuno and comparing it to their respective fame. Well, that's it for my quick guide on leveling your fame in Final Fantasy XI on the WingsXI private server. This is the fastest methods I have found and used over the years, but there's always other ways to raise your fame, as any quest will increase it to a certain degree. If you have additional information on the amount of trade-ins you need on the server, or other tips and tricks you would like to share with others, make sure to leave them down in the comments below. As always, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more Final Fantasy XI content coming in the near future. Thanks a lot for watching, and happy questing!